Hey YouTube, namaste and welcome to my channel. Welcome to anybody who haven't watched my channel before, and to all you lovely people who have been following me. I do apologise about the messy hair. It's a Sunday morning, I've got no kids, and I went to bed with wet hair last night, guys. I just chucked it up in a bobble and I left it dry naturally. Just put a quick little hair dryer on it this morning, so it's a bit wild. But I just wanted to jump on today because I haven't been putting any videos on this week. We had the full moon in Aries. When was that? Was it Wednesday? I'd like to say Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, it was really strong one for me. Last week, sorry, not this week, we had the full moon. It was really strong one for me. I ended loads of cycles and I really listened to my intuition. I put a block on a few people. I stuck my boundaries in place with not just recent exes, but friends and family as well, you know, including my kids. And I really got organised last week as to where my limits were with people and where they weren't. So I haven't put a video on because I wanted to test myself really, and wanted to see, because as you know, I've been putting a few protection videos on, and I've been really affected by like negative energies and things the past couple of weeks. So I really wanted to test, you know, if I was going to go back downhill or if I was going to continue feeling like I felt. I'd done a releasing, not on the full moon because my little one was crazy on the full moon, but the day after the full moon, I done a lovely cleansing ritual. I done a salt bath, a feminine energy healing meditation I put on, and I've stuck to it. And I just wanted to put a post on today because I'm always talking about like the negative, and negative spreads negative. I guess I know it's good to be aware of narcissistic abuse, and it's good that I'm telling my story, you know, and of everything that's happened to me, for people to be aware and like know that they can get through it. But yeah, I just wanted to share something. I just seen 222 that I'm feeling amazing, that I feel like I've actually got over this hurdle, you know. If you've been in a karmic cycle, and that doesn't matter if it's with, if you know, karma is lessons, okay, and we go through these cycles and lessons to learn, you know, and it doesn't have to be in a relationship. It can be with a family member, it can be with your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, even friends, you know. It's things that we go through, and it's like, do you really want this anymore, you know? And if it doesn't align with who you are as a human being, you know, if you're doing things to go along with society, or you're doing things to go along with your family, or to stay in this relationship, you're spending extra, you know, energy on trying to, you know, fix other people, it's never going to work, and the lessons are going to continue, you know, and they really have for me for years. And I really feel like this last cycle that I've been through, I know I had my Saturn return this year, being Aquarius, so I know I had really major life cycles I needed to wrap up this year, and going through what I went through, you know, with the codependency and all my abandonment issues come back up, my codependency come back up, guys, you know. And this is something that I had been working on for 3 or 4 years, maybe even more, no, 3 or 4 years prior to this past relationship. You know, I was over it. I was over it into the point where I wouldn't get into a relationship. You know, I was good on my own, I was independent, I was working, and anybody that come to me wanting a relationship, I run from, you know. So to jump back into a relationship was big for me. But to jump back into the patterns when I was going through it, and I've said this in some videos, I even recognised my old self, you know, and I would say to my ex, my God, I'm acting exactly like I acted. Well, that's wounds, guys, you know. And I just seen 433, people go on so much about, well, how do we self-love? How do we heal? What are these wounds, you know? The wounds manifest in our life. If you don't know what a wound is, the wound will manifest. If you're a wounded human, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, they will come out in like jealousies, in bitterness, in you can't have a joke, you're highly sensitive, all the things that I was in this previous relationship, you know. So these wounds are brought on by being belittled, by being hurt, by being let down, by being broken, by being left, and all these bad things, either in childhood or throughout your life. Like with me, it's been a repeated pattern, you know, and it's something that I know I needed to get a hold of so I can clear this cycle and I can now move on with better boundaries, for one, more respect, for two, and self-love. You know, I didn't have any of them three things in the previous relationship, and I didn't have them in my other two relationships either, you know, because I fall deeply in love and I believe people way too much, you know, and I trust people. Like, it did take a lot for me to trust this last ex. It really, really did. But I obviously somehow did trust him to be in my home and around my kids and open up as much as I did. So for me, that was massive. And this is why I got so hurt. But going back, like, I don't want to make this into a pity party relationship video about what I've been through, because we can all sit in that, can't we? I think I pulled the card for the Divine Feminines a few weeks ago, and I was going through myself about victim consciousness. You know, I was sitting there, and I did definitely go through a dark night of the soul many times this year, and I went through a mini one that week. Of feeling sorry for myself, you know, oh, look what's happened to me, this is me, this is who I am, and pity me, and just making myself, comforting myself that I was a victim of this guy, or I was a victim of these things that happened to me throughout my life. So I've really like analysed and gone into myself, and again, this is why healing and being self-aware is so amazing, because we don't pick up on these patterns. We just think, as the saying goes, we are who we are, you know. I'm feisty, I'm this, I'm that. But these feistinesses and this crazinesses, sometimes they come out in us as wounded people, are wounds, you know. So I really had to go back into myself and be like, right, why, you know, why is this coming up for me again? So if you have gone through a karmic cycle, like I was saying, whether it be with whoever, you know, you have to really look at it. You are going to get out the other side. You are 100% going to come out the other side. But it's up to you whether you come out to the other side bitter and in pain and not learned anything and just be blaming the other person completely, or you come out the other side with, and I just seen 744, numbers are everywhere the past couple of days, you come out of it being bitter and you have this hatred in your heart and you blame the other person and you're not going to change one bit, and then boom, you still got that wound, so you're just going to attract somebody else with the same wound, and it's going to happen all over again. Or you can see what's happened to you right now, and I'm going to name this video when you get out of the darkness, basically. And like, these soul contracts are there to teach us something. You might be sitting there thinking, he's my twin flame, you know, I'm meant to be with him in this lifetime. Sometimes we only meet our twin flames or soulmates or anybody, and even the karmics, you know, even the people that are only there to teach us something, that at that point when we're with them, we are so completely in love, we can't think of anybody else to be with, you know. Like my previous two exes, I love them too. I wouldn't have had babies with them, you know. But when you realise that when you come out the other side and you've got your independence back and you've got your life back and you're waking up in the morning and you're not crying, and you're waking up in the morning without somebody making you feel low about yourself, you can start building yourself back up and start realising that everything that you've just been through has taught you so much, you know. It's grown me so much for what's happened, everything really. Like the 20-year-old me, I look back at now and I'm like, I don't even recognise her. I don't even know who that girl is. I can feel her wounds. I can feel her fears. I can feel her shyness. I can feel her, you know, the lump in my throat and the anxiety in my chest, which I didn't know what it was, by the way, when I was 20. I can still feel that in me. Whereas I am now owning myself, who I am, regardless of what anybody thinks of me, you know. And that is that's another massive step on how to get out of the darkness. And like, this can be with anybody, you know. You could be in a friend situation or in a group situation where everybody is a certain way and you're not, you know, and that's just it. But you don't want to break out of that friend situation because you won't have no friends, you know, and you're going to be on your own, and what are you going to do then? I've been there a couple of years ago, I've been there, and it is heartbreaking walking away from people, but then it's more heartbreaking, I think, it was more heartbreaking for me, being in them situations and them relationships and being around them friendships that didn't value me, that didn't see me for me, that didn't appreciate me, you know. I removed myself, just like I've done with this previous relationship, and I've started appreciating me. I've started loving me. I've started looking after me. You know, sometimes we look for outside validation. We look for people that are outside of ourselves to fulfill us inside, when it never works. You know, it doesn't, you know, if you're a smoker or a drinker, or you like going out on the weekends and you love dressing up and you get that high and you get that fix and you go out and it's amazing and it's like, oh, I just don't want to go home and whatever, or you're drinking that drink and you just, you know, get away from it, you're going to wake up the next morning, you're going to still, your problems are still going to be there, your issues are still going to be there, your fears are still going to be there, your doubts are still going to be there, and no matter how much masking them with people, with relationships, with substances, with whatever, is going to change it 11 and you're just going to stay stuck. And it is heartbreaking walking away, but it is soul revival completely when you can just put that barrier down and be like, do you know what, I'm in my own little bubble I'm in my own little home, I'm around the people that love me, and I can be completely free to be myself, you know, learning the lessons that I've just gone through, you know, and the codependency and the wounds, you know. I'm not blaming him, I'm not blaming even my mother, I'm not blaming anything or anybody that taught me lessons in my past. If anything, I thank them lessons now, because God forbid if I hadn't learned them lessons, and if I wasn't as awake or wasn't woke up on purpose, because that's what I think I was, then God knows where I would be today. You know, God knows where I would be today. I'd be people pleasing. I'd be a mess. And whereas now I woke up on a Sunday, I had a lush night with my 13-year-old son last night. We shaved the dog. I had a lush bath, and I was in bed early, you know, and I'm 36. I've done this for the past couple of years now. Most of my 30s really. I've partied a bit, but mainly I've done a lot of inner work and I've done a lot of introspection, and I've spent a lot of time on my own because I needed to find out why I kept on making these mistakes. I kept on getting into these toxic patterns and these toxic relationships, you know, not just for me, but for my children as well. I've said in previous videos, I don't know if I've put them on here, but I've definitely said them in my close group on Facebook, to how we are and how we act in relationships and what we put up with in relationships with whoever around us. Our children are watching, you know, and our children are getting programmed along the way, even though we don't think it. They are like little sponges, literally little sponges that just absorb everything. So if we are walking around on wounds and we are not learning them lessons, and we are being arrogant, and we're holding the guilt and the shame and the pain inside of us, then our children, unfortunately, are going to go on and do the exact same thing. Okay, and this is why I've been so adamant about healing my childhood and about getting out of these toxic relationships. I've never settled as much as I've been in them. I left everyone and been like, right, you know, where do I go from here? How much do I wake up? How much do I heal? And I'm finally, I think, at the surrender stage of knowing, like perhaps before this relationship, I was still, there's toxic men out there, there's narcissists. I never really, this relationship and going through this pain has really given me the tools to look inside of myself. See, 14, to look inside of myself and see that there's parts of me that needed healing as well. There's parts of me that was toxic, and there was parts of me that was maybe contributing to me going towards it. Well, they definitely was contributing to me going towards these relationships and staying in them for as long as I did, And then once you heal that wound, like I said, you start giving yourself that love and that respect, and you understand that it's not you, that it's just how you've been programmed, then everything changes. Like this morning, I've had an amazing morning. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I'm going to go up the shop now and get some cooked dinner stuff for my boys. And I'm just really enjoying just living at the moment. I think a lot of us, and me included, I was exactly the same. In this relationship and in my past, very much in societal norms or family norms or being what other people expect us to be. But that, like I said, it never makes us happy. It's time to be our true authentic selves. And yeah, getting over a cycle like this, if there's any divine feminines, or anybody that has been, or divine masculines that has been on this journey, and I'm telling you now, it is the biggest and the most excruciating pain I think I've ever been in, and I've been in awful relationships, but like this was the last one but I guess the biggest lessons and the most important lessons hurt the most. Okay, and like it's like being an alchemist then, a proper empath, a true healed empath will then use all this pain and turn it into their power. I done it with my previous ex, and I intend to do it with this one too, because we are more powerful. We've learned the lesson of self-love and value and respect, and walking away from somebody you love is never easy. I loved the 3 exes, and I walked away from the 3 of them. I didn't have to. They would have all stayed with me and I would have continued, but they would not have took me, Sometimes you have to walk away from people you love to love yourself, to give that love to yourself, and your self-respect and your wants and your needs. And don't ever think that somebody is not going to come along and love you, or somebody is not going to appreciate you. You have to wait, you have to heal, you have to take that time to work on yourself and discover parts of yourself that maybe you've been hiding. So then the right person and the right friendships and the right people, or even your person, if it is your masculine, how are they going to know how to treat you if you don't know how to treat yourself? Okay, so it all starts with self-love. And yeah, coming out the other end of it, if there's anybody there that is still stuck, that is still waiting for messages or still waiting on a guy to change, turn that energy into you. Look in the mirror. That is the person that you need to be concentrating on. Look at your babies. They are the reason you were alive, so you can bring up little humans that don't have to go through what you went through. This is the reason why we heal, and this is the reason why we learn our boundaries and we start saying no for ourselves. Yes, 100% for ourselves, so we don't have to go through the bullshit of people underappreciating us and not, taking us for granted and not valuing who we are, but our kids value us, and the people that love us value us, and the ones that don't need to go. And I promise you, the feeling is immense. I'm not saying I don't still love him, but what I am saying is I love me more. And that's where we all need to get to in life. Doesn't matter about what other people say, whether it be your mother, your father, your friends, your brothers, or your lover. If they are making you feel less than loved, accepted and understood, and not giving you the same effort as and love and attention as what you were giving them, then you need to step back and start putting it on you, and then you can go and create the life that you want. I'm writing a book. I started writing a book a couple of months ago actually, but I picked the book back up last night. I'm back learning more in the tarot. And yeah, I'm just spending all that time on myself, and being the best mammy and woman that I can be for me. So if that's the goal, and that's the main reason why we go through these toxic relationships and we go through these lessons, is to find ourselves and to be complete, then it's worth it. It is so worth it. You may not be feeling like that now, because I've had, oh, why did I go through this again? I can't believe I went through this again. The shame, the guilt, the fear, the pain, the embarrassment, the humility, Sarah's done it again. She must be toxic. Yes, I have toxic patterns. I do it because I'm wounded. So then we go away and we heal them wounds and we learn them lessons so we don't make the same mistakes again. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I hope you all have a lovely Sunday, and I hope this helps anybody, not just divine feminines or masculines, anybody that is feeling worthless or feeling like they have to stay in situations where they're not appreciated. You do not. Start putting that appreciation and love back onto yourself and see how things completely and utterly change. Namaste, YouTube.